And we've got the lead actor, Lisbeth Lobo. So, you have such a unique approach to just the narrative structure, to diving into these relationships. Where did the concept for this particular way of making film come from?
Honestly, at first, for me, making this movie meant more like an exploration of different ways of making a movie. Like, I'm more interested in the process itself than the end result, because I'm a big believer that at the end that's has a huge influence in how things come out and the feel of it. And on the other side, I don't know, I'm very interested in more in like the human relationships. I feel like I have a very humanistic approach to it, and really wanted to work with the actors and develop it, the whole movie with them. And so kind of like had a different approach with each actor on how to arrive at who they were, and then kind of see how these characters could play and riff off each other, and see what will show up from that.
Great. So I guess for both of you, what was the process of developing Lisbeth's character?
Well, it was about 3 months of rehearsals that summer of 2022, and I think that one of the most important things was a lot of conversations we had at the beginning of the process, and building the real relationships in very long rehearsals that was all recorded for Diego, and building that kind of truth that I think it is present in what we watch, but it was present in the place of rehearsing, and I think that details was appearing I don't know, step by step, very slowly along the process. And that's it. And I think Diego had very clear what he wanted for us, and it was a kind of camisa de fuerza, jacket,
straight jacket.
But I believe along that the one closed liberty is better for an artist to work, and one of my masters used to say a line for one philosopher, to dance in chains, to dance with chains, bailar en cadenas in Spanish. That kind of dancing with chains is very productive to build anything in art.
You want to add anything to that?
Well, yes. Just wanted to add that for each actor it was a little bit different. And for Mauro's character, like I feel like at first I was taking a lot from my own personal experience, but mostly like I was also very interested in just capturing like the little nuances of how people behave in their own intimacy. And then the fun part is when everything just starts getting muddier, and then like you approach it, you have your own ideas of what you want it to be, and then things start to come up, even how like the actors relate out of set too, or whatever happens in life, and how that also influences as you're doing it. For the character of David, the other guy, and I read like a book on the process of Mike Lee and how he developed his characters, and I just wanted to test that out too. So with him, we did that, which is a very interesting process. He kind of like basically asked the actor to make a list of all the people in their life that they know that they could play, like males around their same age. And then like we just went through all these people, and he would like tell me like brief descriptions of them. And the ones that I found interesting, like you kind of like select them out, and then you keep working on them, and we end up like, to make it a long story short, you're gonna end up writing a one character of some person that he knew, and then we start like he starts dressing out like that person, you're like in his own normal life. Like for example, with him and Andreína, we will send him like to spend days together in character, just like I don't know, go to the mall in character. I wouldn't even follow them; they would just do it, and then like tell me what will show up, or what dynamics would happen, and that also helped like create like a backstory for them, and create that intimacy that I hope it's reflected in the film. Yeah.
Okay, questions? We can't see you very well, so just shout out a question.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So they definitely felt like real relationships. What were the real life relationships between these actors?
Juicy. Well, first of all, like how we met, the girl that plays Lorena, we used to be together. We broke up after the movie finished. Classic. New couples are born, or they die. In the shoot. No, we're good. And then I met the guy Oscar, the one that plays David. I met him through a friend of hers. And then they all work together in Madrid. They have like an acting troupe where they practice, and so they all kind of knew each other. But honestly, at first, like when I was more focused on like having one couple be more kind of like more liberal, more hippie-ish, and easygoing, and the other one like more conservative, and kind of like play those two and like kind of like analyze the two perspectives and the pros and the cons of each other. But then like it just didn't like happen like that. I don't know, like I feel like like I said, like it got like muddier and more subtle, but I feel like that also made it more alive. For example, I feel like in the shoot, and like their couple, I wanted them to be actually the more loving couple. But then, like, they didn't get that. They didn't get that along in the shoot, and so we had to adapt to that, and then like make it like they're actually like falling out, and like, things are not working out, and things like that,
Question. For me, it was like neither couple was ready for a relationship. How close is that to your vision?
I think that yes, a lot of it. I think it's just the gaps and miscommunications that are within a partnership, and kind of like shedding some light into that, and how it's very hard to sometimes just be there for that other person, or to communicate that. And but it was always very important for me through the whole project that I didn't want to like pass that much judgment or take a side, or like I feel like at the end things in real life are just so much more like in the shadows of gray, and I don't know, I don't really have like a theory of like how either of these two couples is gonna end, or like who move on in their life. I think at the end this is just like a single moment that happened this night, that some other things happened, some things didn't work out, but at the same time it can also shed a lot of light on how the whole relationship is as a whole too.
Did you or the actors think about how the couples met, like come up with sort of backstories to inform what happened in the movie?
I really don't remember that. But for sure, we had a kind of background, each one, and a background of the couples. And for sure we had, but I'm not able to remember that right now. It was 3 years ago. For example, we used to play with the different kinds of physical approachings between us, And it was more than sensations, building sensations, more than a mental thing. That I think that's there is a very old approaching of about acting, of thinking that it had to be all mental, all to have a whole story. I really true that the questions you need to do a particular role all the time would be particular questions, not general questions.
Yeah, I want to add something that I remember. Because, like, it was interesting, as I said before, with, like, in their couple, and as we're developing their dynamic, the other actors, like, and they didn't click that well. So it was always like a struggle for me to kind of like create like the sense that they were a relationship, and throughout the whole rehearsals, I was always trying to push for that, which I feel like I never got it, but like where I feel like I kind of like steered well was letting the shoot. I just accepted that and I just went with it, you know. But it was fun because I feel like one of like for the rehearsals, one of the exercises that we did that like brought you guys together the most was that I just told them to like play with their thumbs like this and kind of like recreate their relationship like that, and then like, you know, sometimes they like go like caress each other, sometimes like fight, you know, and stuff like that. And it was like a silly exercise, but I don't like it really like kind of like set the whole story just with the thumbs, like their background.
Was there a choice in like lighting the sets? I feel like when all four of them together, it was like very raw, but by the end with the loving couple, it felt more like stylized and like impressionistic.
Yes, we prioritize having a more general light because we like I had an idea of what I wanted to for each scene to happen, but I kind of would tell them like, you know, where we're going to shoot and then see what will show up. It was very like we relied a lot on what will come up at the moment, but so that in that way we wanted to have a general light, so also like, you know, should be able to shoot 360 or wherever, like whatever happened. But yes, I think that in that it was like a good coincidence that that latter part was like, I feel like it fit more like this like the idea I had of it, and so also it was like more escalated, and I feel like it fits well, formally speaking, like the narrative and the film.
Was the plot point of her sending him home, was that always part of the story?
Yeah, I feel like that was always there, that you get kicked out of the house. Que si eso siempre lo tuvimos acá, yeah, no, yeah, it was because you leave on the back. I really don't remember, but yes, that was. But for example, the scene in the kitchen, how they fight and that he says that he's sorry and asks for forgiveness, that wasn't originally there. Like at first, I wanted it to just not be like brought up, but then I thought it was interesting for them to like bring things to the surface.
I think it was 5 days shooting, and the first 2 days were kind of hard days because the relationship between the actress and me was getting worse. So I think Diego had to adapt things in the middle of the shooting. And,
is that because she was angry with you?
Well, we fought on the ship.
No, I think she was very identified with what was happening, and I don't want to use the word confused, but I think she was feeling truly every tense situation in the development of the story.
Were gender roles ever discussed in the set, like considering that this feels like a very collaborative atmosphere as actresses and you can see the gender dynamics in each of the relationships? Was that ever discussed from the actresses' perspective of how they felt in the process of that?
Yes, that's something that really interests me too. And like for me, it was not just comparing and contrasting the two, you know, heterosexual relationships, but also like like the two girls and the two guys. And yes, I talked a lot to them about like, because I didn't, like I'm very aware that at the end I have my male gaze, and like it's something that I feel like to a certain extent I cannot escape, or it's very hard to do so. So I wanted to bring in their perspective too and see how they approach it. For example, that scene with them in the bedroom, that was mostly Sophia, the one that plays his girlfriend. That kind of like I gave her like free rein to like do that scene. Like she really wanted to do one scene with like her diaries and this longing that she feels, and you know, I let her like do it, and then develop these conversations.
What about this? Oh, sorry.
Very good.
Okay. The scene where he's just admiring his body. Where did that one? How did that one emerge?
Because I do it a lot. No, honestly, there's in this Bresson movie, Four Nights of a Dream, I think it's called. There's a very beautiful scene with a girl that like she kind of does literally the same thing, that she's like getting naked and it's very elegant. And, I don't know, I just found it very captivating and sensual, and honestly, I just wanted to, I like the idea of doing the same thing with a male body, and I don't know, I just feel like there's barely any like male nudity in films, and I really wanted to like give him some protagonism, some screen time, and at the end of the day, I feel like it also fit in the sense that his character is feeling very rejected by her, and he's trying to kind of like find some validation with himself, and he has like this whole dance, you know, against the mirror. Like I was trying to like capture not just like him seeking that validation, but also, you know, some doubts or how he felt. Like kind of like transmit like the doubt that being rejected in your relationship can generate for yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, because I'm also a filmmaker from another country, and I wanted to hear from you, how do you feel with the different audiences? Like, how do people react to it in Spain, and how do people react here, or other places you share your film with?
Well, this is a world premiere.
Oh.
Very happy. And that's something that really interests me, because I feel like at the end, I'm from Venezuela, the two of us are from Venezuela, we live in Spain, we shot in Spain. And this wasn't like a big theme, but definitely was always in the back of my mind. Like a lot of it was like all the characters in the movie are also from Venezuela, like you can tell from the accent. Something that, and I kind of like wanted to have that like present somehow. And for example, the songs that he's always singing are like typical folkloric songs that we have in Venezuela.
For Christmas, particularly there are Christmas songs in Venezuela, and it has a I don't know, a taste of nostalgic. And the movie was shooting before Christmas in November, so obviously there are particular things, Venezuelan things that are subtle to, and another Venezuelan would catch immediately.
Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm more of a comment than a question. A lot of the film was close-ups, and it gave a very intimate feeling about them.
Yes, that was. What's that, sorry?
You heard the question, yeah.
Yes, like for me, I really wanted to create a sense of intimacy and privacy with the couples, and we shot with 2 cameras at the same time, and I feel like also because we were improvising, like having that approach of like using longer lenses, like will help us close things, will really become beneficial for the editing. So the decision came a lot from that, but definitely to also because, you know, to make it feel more intimate and close. And just like I'm very interested in just like in trying to capture the little like gestures that people do beat to beat, second to second. That's all.
Great. So I guess will you be going? I guess how with what you've accomplished here, very successfully. What's your trajectory from here? And so what's the next thing that you want to explore in film?
Yes, definitely. Like I want to keep exploring processes. Like being here has been very inspiring. Talking to other filmmakers and see how they approach their own films. That's definitely like sparked many ideas for me. And a lot of it's in that, and like I don't know. I'm very interested also like in the formal aspect of things, of how things are shot, how they're presented, and the meanings that they can bring. So I don't know. I just want to kind of like gear more towards that and make things feel more sensual in a way, like in a way of like of texture, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll continue exploring like that. I'm passionate about like I feel like the whole concept of like working with uncertainty and like letting mistakes and chance show up in your work and like learning to embrace those things. It's very beautiful. It teaches you a lot about like I feel like it gives me a lot of teachings in my own life or for other things, and also I feel like they really benefit the movies themselves. So it's something I really want to continue practicing.
Great. And is there anyone else here from the film?
Yeah, we got Caro. She should come up.
Say thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone that came. Thank you to Paul. Thank you so much. And thank you, Diego, for giving us the chance to collaborate. And thank you to the federation, right? The Basketball Federation in Venezuela, Los Batrachians, BBC.
Sergio.
I just want to thank Mammoth Lakes Film Festival for receiving this film. It has been amazing.
Thank you for